you very much. Okay. Council is in session. So it's committee of the whole tonight, so we have a number of reports and things to talk about. Would someone like to move the approval of the agenda?
So move, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Seconder, okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Undivided. Carried. We have some minutes from our regular meeting on February 13th. Someone like to move the approval of the minutes?
So move, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Seconder?
Second.
Thank you. Nothing there to, okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Counterminded? Carried. Any business arising from the minutes? Anyone have anything there? No?
Yeah, I think we cover most of it in our
In our
reports.
reports, yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's see, Councillor Granter, we have a Code of Conduct complaint resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As per the Municipal Conduct Act, once a report is submitted to council by the investigator or the city manager following the Code of Conduct complaint, the report shall be reviewed at a privileged meeting of council. Once reviewed, the matter shall be brought forward to a public meeting to make a determination whether the respondent has contravened the Code of Conduct or not in the form of a resolution. If council comes to the conclusion that Code of Conduct has not been violated, a motion will be made to dismiss the complaint. If council determines that a contravention of the Code of Conduct was occurred, council must determine by form of resolution what, if any, should be the penalties imposed on the respondent as prescribed in Section 15 of the Act, Municipal Conduct Act, and it was attached for reference. Therefore, in regards to the complaint in question made by Councillor Pender, complainant, against Councillor Griffin, respondent, the conclusions of the investigator's report was as follows. I write in connection to the above captioned matter and further to an investigation conducted in accordance with the City of Corner Brook, the City Code of Conduct for Mayor and Councillors, the Code. As you are aware, a complaint under the Code was filed by Councillor Charles Pender, the complainant, against Councillor Bill Griffin, the respondent. I have completed an investigation into the matter in accordance with the principles of procedural fairness. Based on the definitions found within the Code, I find that the complaint is not founded. Council must, by resolution as referenced above, determine whether to follow the recommendation of the report or not. The report was attached for the reference of all councillors, Mr. Mayor. And the proposed resolution be it resolved to dismiss the complaint in question made against Councillor Griffin by Councillor Pender. So move, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Would someone like to second that? Of
Yes, I'll declare
you're-
conflict of interest,
you're-
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, you and the respondent would be in a conflict, of course, so it's up to the others here, too. So would someone like to second that motion?
I'll second that.
Thank you very much. Questions on this issue? Anything? No questions. Okay, pretty straightforward. I will say that we do have a record from us, from the investigator on this. And again, I will say that it does find that this was a valid exercise of the respondent's duties, plain related to Councillor Griffin's statements in October, and that while the complaint was submitted, while the complainants has submitted that the respondent could have provided a more thorough account of the facts, I do not find the respondent was dishonest or had any reckless disregard of the truth. I think it's important that we do recognize, I guess, when people are not guilty of contravening these things, just as they're guilty. And I'm really happy that this process is becoming, under the new legislation, a transparent process, and that we are bringing this forward to full council meetings. There's no better disinfectant than sunlight. So that's all I'll say about that. If anyone has any other questions? No? Okay, let's vote on it. All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Counterminded? Carried. Thank you very much. Let's see. Next item, Councillor Chason.
Mr. Mayor, can I speak to that now that it's done?
I think that's fair that, yes, you're the respondent. You get to respond. You can say your piece.
Well, I don't,
Mr. Mayor, did we declare conflict of interest on the matter?
The vote has been taken. It has been dismissed. Now the councillor is asking for, again. Go ahead.
You sure?
Absolutely. I'm the mayor.
Okay. First of all, let me say that I'm happy and relieved that the investigator and my fellow councilors recognize that my concern was genuine, that it's important to me, and I thank you all for that. As I said in my prepared statement, at times we say things that we don't mean, but as adults, we should own up to it and apologize sincerely. Mr. Mayor, this chamber must provide a safe working environment. No one should be made feel uncomfortable here, and having a strong, to-the-point code of conduct will definitely help us to reach that goal. I would assume there was a cost to the taxpayer here. Investigators and professionals and their expertise can't come cheap. Can I ask how much this investigation costs the city, or better still, the taxpayer?
What I do know is I haven't checked and did any analysis on what my time or the rest of it was on that. But the bills from the lawyer were just a little bit under $5,000.
$5,000? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Can I ask a question now?
Yes, absolutely.
Based on Councillor Griffin's report? I'm after hearing apology, accept an apology, but it has to be a sincere apology. I'd like for someone around here to tell me, how can you measure a sincere apology? Just asking the question,
Good question. Anyone have any ideas?
because
Mine?
I'm up in the air on, if I look at you and say, I'm sorry, but you don't think I'm sincere,
Yeah.
who measures that? You, me, or this council right here?
I think that the key to a good apology is recognizing what you did wrong. So even if you may not feel or may feel a little regret for what you did, recognizing that what you did was wrong and not make excuses for doing something. I think that's important.
That's a good apology.
Yes.
What is a sincere one, Mr. Mayor? Can somebody tell me what a sincere apology is? I know, I hear that all the time.
You have to go through the motions of the things I just said, at least to, in your heart of hearts, you're right, the deputy, you may never actually mean it, but you have to show that you have regret and that you did, in fact, do something that warranted an apology. That's in my opinion, but that's just, I'm not a, you know,
So, Mr. Mayor, may I have a comment now?
yeah,
I agree with Councillor Griffin that we should be able to be here in a safe working environment.
yeah,
That includes after meetings, emails that we receive and
Yeah.
so on, that I've seen directed at me that have been less than professional, we can put it that way. And regardless of the cost, there's a process in place.
yeah.
I would ask the question, is this the only complaint that's ever been brought forward under the Code of Conduct under the City of Corner Brook? Has any other one been brought forward, and if so, were there other costs associated to that? So I'll ask that question. And, you know, I agree that when somebody apologizes, they apologize. I don't know if you have to get down on your knees and crawl across on the floor on your belly. Somebody brings something to my attention, I apologize, like I did in these cases. If that wasn't good enough, I don't know what else somebody else requires. So I'll just leave it there, Mr. Mayor. I'll have some other things to say about it at another point.
It's that last bit. Yeah, anything else before we move on? Okay,
If I could have one final thing here, in the attachments, it says the investigation report, Cornbrook Pender versus Griffin, redacted. Can I ask why?
Mr. Cumby?
Yeah, and I can get the city clerk to help me if filling any blanks, but the report was redacted, even though, because, let's we start from the beginning, the new legislation says that these code of conduct violations as it pertains to council are not protected as a workplace investigation under the ATIP Act. But so there is no blanket protection as there is as there would be for a workplace investigation between two employees. However, the document still has to be reviewed for regular ATIP things, and we're in the process of doing that right now. Make sure that there's nothing, any personal information that could harm anybody else that's in the report. And that's the reason why it's been redacted at this point.
Okay, thank you.
No, I just asked that because my reputation is out there too. I mean, I was the one that I'm on the receiving end of this. And I want people to know that this didn't go through. I'm not going to say I was accused of something that I didn't do. I don't want to go down that road, but I'm just saying that if this is supposed to be public knowledge, I think it should be. And if, so can I assume then that after this is done, it will be entered and not with no not redacted? If that's the proper term.
Mr. Cummings?
I'm not really sure, sorry, my hearing is not great on that side there, feeling that. I never heard what the council referenced.
Whether it will be released unredacted.
Well, I would have to go through the process,
Yep.
but, you know, my understanding from speaking to our legal counsel on this before is that, you know, given that a couple of things, given that we've spoken to in reference to this public meeting, and also the legal interpretation of it is that it would be fair game.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, comments?
Just to follow up, Mr. Mayor, my
Yep.
question on, has any other code of conduct
Oh, yes.
violation been done through this process? And if so, was it made public? And if so, the costs and all those types of things, those questions that were raised?
Mr. Cummings?
I'm not aware of any that were done under this new process.
That wasn't my question, Mr. Mayor. I asked under the city's code of conduct because my complaint was filed under the existing code of conduct, which was adopted in 2021.
2021.
Right. So what are you asking, whether any were done?
So
under
if
that
this is
code?
made public, has there been any other, since the code of conduct was brought in, that have been made public, any other complaints? And if so, were they made public?
Okay, Mr. Cummings?
As far as I remember, with regards to even, and that's what I meant when I said new code, that there's been no other complaints made under this new piece that came in October 2021 or April, whenever it was.
Yeah, I can't recall.
But that's as best I can recall.
So since the city of Corner Brook adopted the code of conduct in 2021, this is the first complaint that's been investigated.
I don't know
Under
if the
that.
previous councilors remember.
Maybe staff can get back to us on it.
I'll get back because I don't want to.
Yeah, no, I can't.
Something there was,
Yeah, I'm not sure if there had been under this, the one that we're currently operating
certainly,
Because it would be discriminatory to release one and not the other, so
on.
if there's another.
No, that's not the reason though, Councilor Pender. There
I'm
is-
not concerned about it being released,
No,
that's fine.
there's new legislation. since that
That,
time.
yes, but the city of Corner Brook hasn't adopted the new code of
It
conduct.
doesn't matter, we've received legal advice specifically that the process that we have to follow is the legislative process,
Okay.
even though council has yet to adopt a new code of conduct.
Fair enough, but I still ask my question, if any other code of conduct violation has been investigated by this council, previous council, since the code of conduct is brought in. So you can get back to me on that, Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
if they don't have an answer on that tonight?
That's fine, yeah?
Thank
We'll bring it up at next meeting.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so anything else there? Good. Okay, online reporting portal and Voyant update. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The City of Corner Brook is excited to announce a new means of connecting with residents, making issues reporting more easily and accessible. A new online portal has been developed with an extension to our customer service phone line, 637-1666. Integrated with the same issue tracking application Access E11, used currently by city staff. Submissions through this portal will be triaged and addressed in the same way as when residents call 637-1666. As such, the URL is www.cornerbrook.com/637-1666. This is a 24/7 tool. However, for more emergent issues, we recommend that residents still call 637-1666. I don't know how many times after saying that the last couple of days or weeks. There also have been 3 new Voyant alert categories added to the system. The city events, anything organized or sponsored by the city, that's what it lets you know. Garbage notification, holidays, delays, weather delays, special waste program information. And it also includes general notification, building closures, fireworks, other important uncategorized information. This is along with our other categories that are currently being used, such as road closures, water outages, and tender information. Residents can register online at www.voyent.alert.com/CA. Now, I don't know how many people are going to get that, but I'm sure it's on their site. By downloading the app onto their phones. With this system, residents can receive notifications about any area of the city that has been selected, such as home, work, or even your children's school. They can also choose the means of notification, for example, email, text through the app, or automated phone call. FYI. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, any questions on that?
Mr. Mayor, when did this start? Because I did get one garbage, I think, notification for Winter Carnival, the jump in one day.
Yeah.
But I haven't received an alert since. And I'm sure we've had water outages or whatever since last week.
That's a good question, but.
But
yeah.
that's the last one I got. I was just checking
Yeah, yeah.
then, because it's a great system, but I don't seem to be getting alerts on very much.
Yeah, I'm not sure when it started.
It's been active for a while. Water alerts are set up to go to the region it affects. So if it's not,
okay.
it's not affecting your area or an area you have tagged, you
So I wouldn't get that one.
you wouldn't get
Oh,
notification.
okay, that makes sense. All right.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions on that? And it's a great opportunity to use the online tool to report. If you're shy about calling our CSRs at 1666, you can go online and do it. It's a great tool, and we do use that as our primary planning tool. Is that correct, Mr. Burden?
That's correct, Mr. Mayor. So, Mr. Mayor, just as a quick follow-up, previous to this announcement, the system was only used for like emergencies, water shutdowns and those kinds of things. And now we've added city events that are going to be taking place in the city that are sponsored by the city of Corner Brook. That's my understanding. So if a resident logs on and registers for Voyant, they would receive special events that will be taking place that are sponsored by the city as well, not only emergencies, correct?
I'm not sure.
They can select any categories that they want to be updated on. So
Okay.
it's up to the resident to choose which ones they want information on.
Okay, that's good information. Thank you.
Okay, anything else there? Yes?
Thanks. We still need to stress to call 637-1666.
Absolutely.
If there's anything wrong and you need something completed.
Yep, the online
That's right, it's
form,
not replacing
the
it.
online form goes into the same system though.
Yeah.
So it is tried, it actually is good information, very little information that's required on the end of the resident. But having your email address or phone number to get in touch with you really helps, because quite often it's very difficult to locate the exact nature of the problem. So being able to contact them is great. Okay. Next, Deputy, we have some information about what Public Works is up to.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Public Works. It's been a busy month, but it's over as of tomorrow. Public Works, snow clearing. Snow clearing, city forces plowed snow 30 days from January the 1st till February the 20th. Snow blowers, city blowers were out widening streets for 12 days during that time. Loaders with baskets, 6 days in the city had, for 6 days the city had loaders equipped with snow baskets out, pushing back snowbanks and intersections to improve line sight and to clean up the cul-de-sacs. Sidewalk clearing, city's Bobcat was out 30 days. Downtown cleanup sidewalks, equipment was out for 4 evenings, nights cleaning up downtown core and islands. Salt use, we used 19,000 tons of, 1,900, oh my God, 1,900 tons of salt, 2,000 tons of sand, potholes ongoing, And our special events that we took part in, City Carnival, 10 days spent by the city staff preparing and providing support to the committee. And from all reports, they thanked the city profusely for all their help that they did for Winter Carnival. The rest of 2023 in winter, snow clearing and blowers ongoing, pothole/reclaimers, hoping to use the reclaimer in coming weeks once the weather settles for a few days. And Winter Carnival, the Fest on West, that was canceled, so we didn't have that. There you go, that was it for us.
Any questions on that from Public Works? Yep.
I would like for you to ask Director Burden, the side streets, like how they're taken care of, what works on a side street, what doesn't work on a side street, does sand work in cold weather, and all those questions that we've been getting for the last couple of days.
Mr. Burden, tell us about side streets.
First and foremost, we haven't, the blowers will be back out starting tomorrow. We've had the blowers on pause for about a week because of the special weather statement on the cold weather. You know, we didn't feel it was safe to have an individual walking in front of the blower with, you know, such cold temperatures. So we paused the blowing on the side streets. We'll commence again tomorrow. Now the weather's warming up. The reason we're getting so many complaints right now on the side streets for slipperiness is basically salt doesn't work at this temperature. So we're forced to only use sand, and it takes a lot more sand to you know, provide traction on a road than a little bit of salt. A little bit of salt will go a long way, whereas it takes a lot more sand. So it means a lot more frequent trips back to the salt and sand to the sand pile to distribute. And the sand is nowhere near as effective as a salt would be. So hopefully another day or so we'll be able to get back to using salt once the temperature warms up a little bit, and we can get some of that ice that's been building up over the past week cut down and thawed with the salt.
Thank you. Any other questions you got? It's been a very extraordinary weather, that's for sure.
Mr. Mayor, just
Yes.
one question, just on the stats, like how much salt and sand we use, is this compared to previous years, is this about normal, above, below?
Mr. Burden?
This is pretty typical. You know, at this time of year, it fluctuates a little bit, but you know, we see pretty constant numbers by the end of the season. So you know, we would expect most of our salt is used early in the fall, and again late in the fall, early in the spring. So we will use, you know, we're around 2,000 tons. There's probably another couple thousand tons to be used of salt, and another couple thousand tons of sand to be used. You know, the sand usage now, these numbers are a few days old. That sand usage is quite a bit higher than the number stated. Salt usage is pretty, we haven't used much in the past week, but coming on the spring now, when we start getting freezing at night, thawing at day, we'll start using salt quite heavily. So we anticipate 4,500 tons of salt and sand approximately for the year, which is on par with, right now we're comfortable with the numbers.
And one final question, Mr. Mayor, do we still use the salt brine solution on our roads at all?
Mr. Burden?
Yeah, no, we have the equipment to make a good brine solution. What we don't have is good equipment for dispersing it. We had several plans to develop a truck specifically for spraying roads using the source that we have, but what we found was you can't just build a tanker truck. It's just not allowed. It has to be approved and certified. So we don't have the equipment right now to spread. We have the equipment to make, which we haven't done now in several years.
So is this equipment, Mr. Mayor, we can purchase that equipment if it was deemed feasible?
Yeah, you know, we've done a lot of research on it. Various, some people, you know, there's various opinions on how it works and if it doesn't work. I think the best bang for the buck is what they call pre-wetting of the salt. So you're wetting it as it's leaving the truck. We do have 2 trucks that are capable of doing that. And up until, you know, maybe a couple of years ago, we were doing a little bit of that. With the lack of scales that are salt shed, it's difficult to tell what gain or, you know, it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
There's quite a cost to produce this brine, labor cost, and it's hard to tell without accurate scales if you're benefiting from that, you know, that extra cost, so,
So the cost may not justify going down that road?
no.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions there? Okay, if not, well, yes, go ahead.
One more.
Yeah.
Would brine actually work in this weather, in this cold weather? Would that be a solution to some of our issues with cold
No.
weather?
There's some argument on what temperature salt and brine will stop at, but definitely anything below -20, it's completely ineffective. And anywhere between like -8 and -20, it's effective, but less effective than it would be between, say, 0 and -8. So the colder it gets, the less effective, and then below -20, it's essentially useless.
So the colder it gets, the less we can actually take care of some of our side streets and things like that with like salt and brine, so it's only sand.
We're
Okay.
forced to use sand. yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, the weather, I mean, we live in a very harsh climate, obviously.
This is a harsh one.
Certain conditions definitely cause us more grief than others, there's no doubt.
So one other question, because I've had this one asked of me, why does the salt work on my driveway at -20, but not on city streets or -30 or whatever? So maybe, Mr. Burton, you can give us an explanation?
Mr. Burton?
I would suspect why it might be working on a driveway is not road salt like we're using at the city. It's probably a special mixture that they're buying from Canadian Tire, a proprietary mixture, which is for 4 liters is probably $30 or something ridiculous like that, which is practical for a driveway or a set of steps, but for us to bring that product in for our streets would be.
So like the bags of safety salt, the yellow bags, whatever, that's not the same quality as what the city is using on our streets? It's a higher quality, I guess, is it?
It depends, like the yellow bags that say road salt, it would be very similar to what we're using. And I would be very surprised if they're getting different results from that than they would be from our salt. But you can get, I know, Ice Melter Plus, it's the blue stuff that comes in the container.
Oh, yeah.
That has additives in it beyond salt, and that'll work on pretty much anything. But
No, I was thinking specifically of the safety salt, that's the brand name, I think.
I think it is, but
You buy it
that's,
in the yellow bags, right?
that's essentially what we're using, that's just a rock salt, road salt.
But that will work on a driveway, so that's the question
Yeah.
was asked of me, if that works on a driveway. I thought the city salt might be a different
The
quality
stuff,
than
yeah,
that.
the stuff we get on via the port or other.
So that's what we're using,
That would be a
Yeah,
very-
that's essentially the same
So,
stuff.
but it works on a driveway, now obviously it's a much smaller surface than a city street. But the question's asked, why does it work on a driveway and not city street if it's the same product?
And it might be as well, consider the amount too.
Oh, yeah.
Because I would imagine that, I know when I put some salt on my steps and things, they're pretty coated compared to what we're able to distribute on the streets, the square footage of the streets.
Yeah, no, it's just a question that was
Yeah,
asked,
no, it's
so
good.
I asked for clarification.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
thank you.
The more money you give Canadian Tire, the better stuff you'll get for sure. Not a plug for Canadian Tire, but Home Hardware, whoever you want to buy it off
Wherever,
of.
yep,
But they do make a special mixture that'll go down to
Yeah.
-40, -50. But
Oh,
it's not,
that's the Alaskan stuff, or
yeah,
whatever, the blue
that's
stuff,
just,
yeah.
that's not all salt.
No.
It does work.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Deputy, we've got some information from the other side of Public Works, water and wastewater.
Water and sewer, water and wastewater complaints. Okay, and this goes from.
You can summarize
Yeah,
however you want to.
Oh, yeah. From January 1st to February 17th, in a 6-week span, I'm taking it, we had 150 wastewater and water complaints. And the water and wastewater recoverable works, was $7,351.34. The water and wastewater repairs, we had 11 in that time. We're always doing upcoming maintenance, water treatment plant maintenance summary. I mean, we installed inline sample pumps, multiple power outages during January we had. And we're going to look at clean pipe raceway in basement off Where would the basement be?
The water
Where-
treatment.
In the building?
In the building itself.
Okay, okay. And we're going to install new filtered water UVT analyzer and install new collagenate during dosing pump 1. The pump is approximately 8 years old. And that would be it for water and wastewater, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. A quick question, the number of breaks there, I see there's been 9 main. How's that comparing? Seems low,
That,
There you go.
knock on wood.
yeah, that number has probably doubled in the past week or so with the cold weather.
Yep.
But flows at the plant are still way below what we have seen in years previous, and the number of breaks, the number of emergency breaks we're doing have been way down because of the leak detection that's being done. I think we're finding some of these troubled spots before they actually cause us grief at night.
So good. Good, okay. Any other questions on that?
I'm just wondering, maybe Mr. Burton can tell us how much or how difficult it is right now at this cold temperature to repair a water main break, because I guess the ground is frozen for a few feet down. I don't know how far, but maybe just share with residents, what it takes to fix one of these breaks, because we have to fix them when they happen, even at this time of the year.
Yeah, that's correct. With the water treatment plant online, it's not an option to let a 10-inch main run for, even overnight to wait to fix it. So first thing we had to do is on the safety side, is get locates from the power and phone line and cable companies, so that nothing gets broken when we dig. And then it involves several pieces of equipment this time of year. The first thing is a breaker, which is, is a large jackhammer on the back of a backhoe to get down through the, approximately 3 to 4 feet of frost. And then there's another backhoe comes in to excavate down to the pipe. What we've been doing typically to reduce damage to existing or surrounding infrastructure is we use our new vacuum truck as a hydro excavator to basically pressure wash the ground and vacuum it out. And then you're typically seeing two types of failure in the pipe. It's either a longitudinal split, which requires you to cut out a piece and replace, or you'll see a transverse where you can put what we refer to as a handy band, which is essentially a stainless steel clamp. And then once that's done, depending on the nature of the repair, a boil water advisory will have to be issued for the residents in that particular area. Then it's back tested and backfilled, and then for I think it's up to 48, 72 hours later, we're doing constant testing to make sure that the chlorine residual is appropriate in that section before we lift the boil water. So there's a lot of song and dance that goes into the at 2 in the morning to fix a water main, and knock on wood, we haven't had I hate to say it out loud, a major one since I believe the start of the last council on Wellington Street. We had a large feeder break there. We've been very fortunate since that to just do smaller mains and not feeders, but there's a substantial amount of work goes into maintenance and repair of that system.
And Mr. Mayor, are we still using the trench boxes in these cases for
Yes, sir.
safety of workers?
Oh, absolutely. If, it's, a lot of times it'll come down to timing. It's, trench box is definitely the preferred method for minimizing the amount of disruption to the surrounding asphalt, curb, and gutter. But if we get in a case where we have a big leak that we have to get to in a hurry, instead of using the trench box, we won't put anyone at risk. We'll just make the excavation that much larger to meet the OHS standards.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think it's important residents understand that it's a significant piece of work, and there's quite a process to go through to do it and do it safely.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Councilor Granter, we have some reports from Protective Services.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I won't go through all the numbers because the numbers are numbers. For municipal enforcement, we had 49 calls in the area of bylaw enforcement, taxi regulations, animal control, and parking enforcement. For the Corner Brook Fire Department, there were 35 calls for the month of January, a couple in residential structure fires and also commercial fires as well. The Corner Brook Fire Department Fire Prevention Inspector conducted 37 commercial inspections, 3 inspections for all oxygen, and 3 public education inspections for schools in the city, Mr. Mayor. And for public safety answering point, there were 6,551 calls. And these are calls that go to the region for police, ambulance services, fire, crises, Northern 911, and so on. Most important to the residents will be the update on the ladder truck. Work on the ladder truck is still progressing. Western Steel has been engaged to do the necessary welding and are awaiting approval of the welding work plan from their engineer. The truck is currently operational, but will require final testing when the work is complete. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Any questions on that?
Just one on the building, I guess it wasn't a fire, but the apartment building where people were
Apartment, yes.
evacuated. Are they back in their building yet, do we know? Has that been resolved?
Mr. Flynn?
I'm not, I haven't been updated on whether or not they're in, but the problem is being rectified right now, or has been. But I'd have to get, I've been waiting for a report from my deputy.
Right, thank you.
I did see something in the media to that effect, that they were back in place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but now we haven't received official on that. But are we right to assume that the damage wasn't that extensive? It was limited to?
It was limited to the electrical room. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bit of smoke damage or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oof, yes, that's never.
Well, it's a cold time of the year to be out of their home,
Yeah,
so I'm just
absolutely.
wondering if they're back in.
Again, think about the fire in a similar area before, where again, this time, as the case last time, the churches step up as well. Last time, I think the Pentecostal Church, I heard it was the Salvation Army Church this time, as well as the Red Cross, to help people find shelter and food and things like that, to get them through some difficult couple of days. So it's glad, again, I hope that in fact they are back in their homes. So.
Yeah. Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we should probably keep in mind too that with this, even though there may not be fire damage, but the smoke going through the building, people with respiratory issues, I mean, it may need to be painted, the laundry made, the bed sheets, everything, the whole thing may need to be washed down. So even though the initial problem is solved, but there's more to it when it comes to getting the people back in the building.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, thank you for that. Next, Councillor Pender, we have some updates on capital projects.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So wanted to thank Director Charters as well for his assistance in going over this before this evening, so thank you for that. So the first item here is the Corner Brook Regional Recreation Center. I will say, Mr. Mayor, as well, that I no longer work at Grenfell campus, so no longer in a conflict of interest on anything related to Grenfell. So with respect to that, the rear pool masonry wall is done. 5 out of 7 bays are done alongside the maintenance alley. So this was an area which the walls had to be removed because I think there was no steel structure or rebar in it. And I can tell you can see the rebar in it now, Mr. Mayor. The interior masonry in the locker room area is about 75% complete. The structural steel is 95%. All the concrete decking completed on level 2. The steel studs are being installed in the administrative area on level 2. The contractor is working on compacting and prepping the concrete slab on level 1 in the daycare area. And the estimated completion date is still early 2024. So that's for the recreation center. Sidville Drive, we're doing some PVR upgrades to the value of $644,000. That project is about 70% complete to date. Not sure if they're working on that now, Mr. Yeah, they are still, okay, so they're inside. Bells Brook Culvert Phase 2, worth about $860,000. Project started in September 20th, it's about 60% complete, and they hope to have the road open by March 3rd, which is this week. Not going to happen. Too cold, I'd say. Ambitious. And of course, the curbed asphalt will be done in June. The Elizabeth Street Pump House upgrade is funded 100% by the province. The tender was awarded to the value of $535,000 approximately, started on September 20th. The project is about 100% complete. There's some new equipment commissioned February 17th, and we're just waiting for a report from the consultant on that. The Great Trail Enhancement Phase 1, the tender closed on January the 12th. Contract was awarded to West Coast Excavating and Equipment Company. The contract documents are being prepared, and construction should start in the spring of 2023. O'Connell Drive and Crestview pedestrian crossing improvements. The project has been designed and awarded, and the tender is closing, and the design work is done, the tender is closing February 22nd, which means it has closed February 22nd. Thank you. These reports are done before our council meeting, so sometimes the tensors are not always in sync. Projects that have been completed, the retaining wall replacement, Johnson's Avenue storm sewer improvements, Pittman Lane storm sewer improvements, sidewalk replacement 2022, asphalt patching, the roundabout tower protection wall up next to the Bloomington Golf Course, the asphalt program of 2022, Bellsbrook Culvert Phase 1, Blackwoods Hill Culvert replacement. All those projects have been completed. Some of the future capital projects, Mr. Mayor, would be the Deep Gulch Brook Storm Sewer Replacement. The RFP was issued February the 21st, and that's the work, of course, that runs down, I guess, across the land below the former G.A. Mercer School, Academy Canada, and goes down across University Drive and down through under O'Connell Drive and so on. So that work has to be done. Great Trail Enhancement Phase 2, the funding letter was received from Infrastructure Canada, and we're waiting for the funding agreement. A couple of engineering studies on the way, a water system audit, funding is not available, so we're looking at a phased approach with current city funding, and of course a transfer station study, RFP for engineering consultants is to be released in the spring of 2023. And that is all, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Questions on any of those items? Nothing there? Okay, sounds good. Let's move along. Councilor Griffin, development planning reports from that department.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I too have a long list here, so I'm just going to briefly go over everything, and if anybody got any questions, we can throw them at the director over there. Again, the University Drive to New Rec Center permits issued for civil, structural, and exterior development. Everybody noticed the new building there by the lights there on Griffin Drive. That's our new Robin's Donuts. Site work construction has been completed. Building envelope construction is underway. Let's see, the Western Star Building, conversion to an apartment building. Construction will restart again in March or April. An 8-unit apartment building on Dobbs Road. The construction is ongoing. Confederation Drive, the new Western Motorsports location. Again, construction is ongoing. Mount Bernard Avenue, Sobeys, apparently they're doing a renovation there too. So that's good. It must mean business is going well, so that's good to hear. Let's see, Maple Valley Road, Plaza Mall. There's permits have been issued for the shoe company, so that's always good. You see 71 Phillip Drive, conversion of the old church to a 14-unit apartment building. Use approval granted, waiting on engineer drawings. North Shore Highway, Mount Patricia Cemetery, cemetery expansion, development approved, granted, awaiting drawings. And I think we'll, number 79, Director, did we say we're going to make that announcement? Okay. Now I got everybody wondering what it was. Stay tuned.
Project.
Stay tuned, yeah. The Integrated Municipal Sustainability Plan, consultants have submitted the draft municipal plan and development regulations for staff review. Staff review is complete. Response to be provided back to the consultant with feedback outlining changes that the city requires. The next steps will include a document provided by the consultant that can be reviewed by the executive staff and council. I'm going to say YOLO, or do we just do the YOLO? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Nomads Project, remote working. The project has already started and the website is being created. Staff are in regular contact with consultants for development and rollout, finalizing 14-day itinerary for the website. Let's see, the new program with Development and Labrador Organization of Women Entrepreneurs. Staff are working on a new program to be implemented along with the NLOWE, the Newfoundland and Labrador Organization of Women Entrepreneurs, is interested in discussing this after their program in the first week of March. So that looks interesting. And I think to finish up, Mr. Mayor, Star Trail updates, the OBIEC and IATNL building on the main Man in the Mountain Trail, as well as the Cape Blow Me Down Copper Mine to be multi-use trails, in the process of finalizing the LTOs and construction 2023. Partners for Climate Protection, working on collecting the measurable data on changes which have been made throughout the organization. And finally, Mr. Mayor, community gardens. 5 community gardens running through this partnership at the moment. The city has received funding through MMSB for 4 additional Jorcan composters. The partnership with the city and WEC has been a great opportunity to make a big change in supporting spaces for community and food. Funding finalized for another greenhouse at the Barry Place Community Garden, the provincial grant of $10,000. That's it for me, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, and it will be worth mentioning as well, earlier, just to remind that there is, WEC is working on a project with us as well for a big greenhouse project, so they've received some funding, and we're partners on that, so that should be, it's a 42-foot geodesic dome-style greenhouse.
Or small.
That's, yeah, that should be very interesting, and yeah, we'll see how that progresses for sure. Any questions on any of these things? Again, I invite everyone, these reports are all available online as well. Again, the councillors here have to summarize, of course, because there is a lot of detail, but there's a lot of interesting information as well.
I think too, Mr. Mayor, like we all hear around the city, like we get comments, there doesn't seem to be much going on. But then when you look at all of this, there's a lot going on.
Absolutely.
There's a lot.
Absolutely. Okay. Next, Councillor Gill is unable to be here tonight. I'm wondering if Director Maestri, would you be able to walk us through some of the important highlights of our finances?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The detailed financial reports have been attached in the pack. As it is the first month of the 2023 fiscal year, there is no material or significant expense items to highlight. As you would be well aware, the inherent timing issue of our revenues versus our expenses, we do record the core revenue up front, and expenses will come through in terms of across the year. So you will see that, and it is the first month, so a bit distorted in terms of that. But it is important to mention, obviously it is tax payment season, and a gentle reminder to all the residents that the deadline for property taxes is tomorrow, the 28th of February. And then for business taxes, it is 31st of March 2023. Those taxpayers who settle their accounts before these respective dates are entitled to a 1% rebate. In terms of methods of payment, either in person at City Hall or online payment facilities such as your credit cards, Interact, PayPal, or PaySimply, that's available. Residents are more than welcome to contact the city if they need any further guidance with that. In relation to the financials, the accounts receivable, here again, it's in line with prior year. As we've seen, we see a high level of accounts receivable until taxpayers do settle their accounts, and yeah. So that's the financials. In terms of grants itself, some noteworthy grants that have been issued to date. The Cloud Factory in support of the snow screening display to take place in March at the Blow Me Down Ski Club. Then the Vine Place Community Center in support of senior recreation events and transportation. The Rotary Music Festival in support of the annual music festival and the CV Nuat. in support of the annual festival on West Street. So those are the 4 items, grant items that have been issued over and above the standard grants. That is it from the finance section.
Okay, thank you very much. And again, I encourage you to go online and have a look. There is much detailed information there available. Again, a lot of numbers,
Yes.
for sure. Any questions on any of that? Yes, go ahead.
Just 2 questions, actually. The first one, with respect to payment by Visa, MasterCard, whatever, are we charging an additional fee for that, and can we know what that fee is?
Yeah, Mr. Maestro.
So it would be an additional fee, but that would be via the bank charges itself. So whatever the bank rate is, that would be the rate.
Okay. And my second question, Mr. Mayor, and I don't need it tonight, but it would be nice if, when we discuss grants, that we get the amounts of money that have been granted to these organizations as well. So I'm wondering the next time when we do this, could we have that?
I do have that available.
Oh, well.
Happy to share.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so for the Cloud Factory, $1,000 in cash was issued and $600 in kind. For the Vine Place Community Center, $1,200 issued. For the Rotary Music Festival, $1,000. And for CB North, it is $4,000 in cash and $5,000 in kind.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think it's important that people know the contribution that we make to various events throughout the city, even if the city is not hosting them themselves, that we assist other groups in their endeavors to do work in the community.
Absolutely. Okay, any other questions?
I had the same one for a charge for using a credit card, actually.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So there is a charge.
There is a charge, so of course, the city can't pay the additional fees associated with credit cards. So of course, if you want the convenience of that, you can do so. And I think actually, Councilor Gregor, I know you brought it up many times in the past. It was a couple years ago we brought it in place. So some people like those points, but unfortunately, the
Because,
user has to pay for them, so.
what about a debit card? Any charge on a debit?
No.
Okay, so no charge on a debit, no charge on a check, no
If you're
charge.
online banking, that kind of thing, that's all fine.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I remember, going back 10, 15 years maybe, when we were accepting those cards, and we were paying the charges, and it was
Oh, really?
costing us $30,000 or $40,000 annually, and, you know, we had a lot smaller budget then than we have now, so
Yeah.
So
there's
convenient.
no way we could afford to pay for that.
I didn't know, that's a new, it used to be,
Yeah.
didn't know we ever did that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we
did.
did until about 2005, somewhere around there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
we gave it up because of the cost.
Yeah, good thing. Okay, next, Councillor Keeping, we have an update from Rec and Tourism.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Recreation. The Civic City Center rinks and studio continue to be very busy with regular programming and user groups. This month, there have been a few cancellations due to weather, and on February the 8th, the Civic Center had 2 separate equipment failures that resulted in the closure of activities for the users and general public. The center's main circulating pump for hot water loop failed early Wednesday morning. Staff identified the issue and parts were replaced by Thursday afternoon. The pump failed resulted in the cancellation of public skates on Thursday. However, post-installation, public skating resumed the next day. There was minimum disruption to regular skate users. As a matter of coincidence, a sprinkler head failed in the main electrical room in the studio, resulting in immediate and unexpected closure of the building and all activity for 48 hours. Staff, Cornerbrook Fire Department, and contractors were reacted immediately, and their quick reaction prevented any significant damages, allowing the studio to reopen on Friday morning for regular activity. On February 17th and 18th, the studio played host to the Under-16 Female Provincial Volleyball Championships, which saw 14 teams from around the province participate in the tournament. Upcoming on March 3rd and 4th, the studio will also be a venue for the Under-15 Male and Female Provincial Volleyball Championships taking place in the Cornerbrook area, consisting of 50 teams of various parts of Newfoundland and Labrador. Senior hockey also continues this coming weekend with the Cornwall Brawls playing the Portabest Mariners on Friday, March 3rd. The game that was scheduled on February 4th and canceled due to weather will now take place on Friday, March 10th. Tickets sold for February 4th will be honored at the March 10th game. Tourism, the Jigs and Wheels Festival is scheduled this year from July 28th to August the 6th. We are pleased to announce that Blame It on Broadway will be returning as a kickoff event on Friday, July 28th from 7 p.m. to 12 a.m. The theme will be Bring Back the 80s and will include performances by the Clover Girls, Maze Reunion, and the Mixtapes. Details on where to buy tickets as well as other festival events will be available in the coming weeks. Mel Whistler Roll Train, also returning this summer, and the call was issued on Friday for March 4th for drivers and tour guides for the 2023 season. Anyone interested in applying for the positions can visit the city website for more information. STAR program. The Leadership Committee presented terms of reference draft to the Implementation Committee. Feedback was recorded and a second draft will be presented on March 15th. A significant amount of time was scheduled to discuss the terms of reference draft. As a result, the draft branding request for proposals is now scheduled to be presented and discussed on March 15th. Trail update. Approval is in process. A subcommittee meeting scheduled for February 28th to discuss the license to occupy. The draft request for proposal for the trail consultant will be presented to the Implementation Committee on March 15th, along with the subcommittee's update on the trail. Also, during the February 15th meeting, the committee reviewed the remaining recommendations from the STAR reports. And priority areas for the committee continue to be developing a brand, developing a marketing plan, trail development, supporting Aspiring Geopark, and coordinating regional events. And I also would like to add, thank you for the wonderful 50th Cornwall Winter Carnival. And we hope everyone had as much fun as we, the committee, did. It was a huge success. And the week may be officially over, but we will be rescheduling some of the events that were canceled due to the extreme cold weather. Old Sam Day will be on March 3rd, and both Guns N' Roses and Fist and Whist will be announced at a later date. Keep an eye on our social media website for updates. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Councillor, thank you. And I understand that you are going to be chair of the Carnival Committee next year. Is that correct?
I am.
Good stuff. Yes, Carnival was fantastic. I think we all got to enjoy various aspects of Carnival. I know I was very tired at the end, but in a good way.
Yeah.
So thank you and the committee for all that great work, for sure.
Thank you.
Are there any questions? Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, thank you, Councillor, for that update. And again, it was an excellent Winter Carnival, and congratulations to the committee and all the volunteers and everyone in the city that went out, and tourists as well. With regard to the Mill Whistler, Mr. Mayor, brought this up, I believe, last summer. Where the Mill Whistler parks or picks up people on West Street in the last season and perhaps in the previous season before that, I had some people that said to me, the way we cover up the coin meters there, the meters, traffic meters, we just had a plastic bag wrapped over it, an orange bag and a black bag with some tape all wrapped around it, and it was kind of take away from the cleanliness and the look downtown. So I'm wondering, as I did bring up early in the fall, I do believe, I don't know if it was in a private meeting or not, if we could get something to just cover those meters, where there's something with a logo from the city of Corner Brook that could be made of a material. We have advanced notice now to be able to get something done to make sure that it looks neat and tidy, where tourists and locals like it on our train on West Street.
Good idea. Yes. Very good. Perfect.
Mr. Mayor, I did have one inquiry. Somebody mentioned about the banners that we used to put on the lampposts downtown for Winter Carnival, and they weren't put up this year. I just assumed because of the cold or whatever.
Yeah.
But is that something we have stopped doing, or I guess we didn't do it during COVID?
I know that we've done them for like the Remembrance Day. We did add some this year. And I'm assuming they do have a shelf life though. So I don't know, Mr. Burden, if you know, I guess your crew is responsible for usually putting those up. But whether or not they're available, or they're damaged, or what state they're in?
It's not a practice we've stopped. I know if anyone requests, we use a contractor to put them up, but I honestly don't know about the carnival ones. I don't know if there was.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know. Somebody just asked me about it, and they said they thought they used to put them up, and I had no response, because I'm not familiar with it at all.
I can definitely look into it, see if there was a request made, or if there was some reason why they didn't get it.
I'm sure they wouldn't be, yeah. But
Yeah, I don't
yeah.
even know if we have them.
Yeah, I'm trying to recall, I'm just trying to picture them.
Like, I've seen other ones, but I don't know if anyway,
Yeah.
it's just the question was raised, so I thought I'd mention it.
Anything else? That's great to see the STAR committee, and again, this is a regional thing. The city itself participates in it, but it's not something that we do ourselves. If you love something, you set it free. Well, this is the case here. We want to make sure that, again, our regional partners and tourism operators and all the stakeholders are forging ahead on their own with our help. So great to see that moving again, especially after COVID. Okay, there's nothing else. We've got a few regular items to deal with. We have a confirmation of order. Councillor Griffin, if you would walk us through that, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Since the previous meeting of council, the following order was issued by the Department of Community Engineering Development and Planning, and therefore must be confirmed by council pursuant to section 109(4) of the Urban and Rural Planning Act. Order number 2023-02, date of issue February 23rd, 2023. Civic address, location 18 Humber Road. Violation section 8 of the City of Corner Brook Development Regulations, and the order was a stop work order. Section 109(4) of the Urban and Rural Planning Act 2000 requires that all orders issued by the authority be confirmed by the majority of council at the next meeting of council after the order is made. If the order is not confirmed by council in this manner, it shall be considered to be canceled. Proposed resolution in accordance with section 109(4) of the Urban and Rural Planning Act. The following stop work order is hereby confirmed by council. Order number 2023-02.
Okay, thank you. Someone like to second that?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Questions on this? Again, this is a requirement as part of our development regulations. When a stop order, work order is issued, we have to bring it forward at a council meeting for confirmation. Okay, any questions? No? No. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Counter-minded? Carried. Okay. Okay, now we have our code of conduct policy. We did postpone it at the last meeting. So at a regular meeting of February 13th, 2023, there was a motion brought forward to rescind the current code of conduct policy and replace it with the attached code of conduct policy in accordance with the Municipal Conduct Act. Subsequently, it was postponed, and then the motion is coming forward again. As per the Municipal Conduct Act 2021, which came into effect in September, all municipalities are required to have a code of conduct for council and municipal officials in place by March 1st, 2023, that falls under the requirements of the Act and the accompanying regulations. Following the enactment of the Act, the province released templates for each code of conduct to assist municipalities and outline the requirements of the Act. Staff started on the development of the code of conduct by attending information and training sessions on the development of the new code of conduct, analyzing the template and our current code of conduct, make comparisons and determine what was required to be legislatively compliant. After conducting a jurisdictional scan of how other municipalities were proceeding with this code of conduct development, it was identified that many of the large municipalities in the province were either drafting their own code of conduct, making adjustments to their current code of conduct based on the legislation, or adopting the template provided by the province with modifications. After extensive analysis of the template and legal review, staff identified several sections of the prescribed council conduct in both private and in their role as council, of which the parameters of the conduct were ambiguous and may set impractical expectations of council. This could prove to be very convoluted when breaches of the Code of Conduct, interpretation of the policy were put to council to decide. Therefore, it was determined the best course of action to proceed was to review our current policy, make changes where necessary that would align with the overall intention of the template as well as the Act. The Act sets out procedural requirements for how to process and administer Code of Conduct complaints, as well as specific criteria that must be outlined in the city's Code of Conduct, including clauses related to standards of professional behavior, use of influence, confidentiality, harassment and bullying, use of social media, use of public resources, and fraud, compliance with applicable legislation, prevention of reprisals, as well as the establishment of a process for filing and resolving complaints and reports related to complaints. Part of the procedural requirement outlines the requirements of providing a report to council on a complaint and council's decision by way of resolution on these reports that occur in a privileged meeting of council, by way of resolution on the termination of the contravention of the Code of Conduct by a councillor. While the review of the counts of these reports occur in a privileged meeting of council, the decision is to be made in a public meeting of council. Council will also make the decision as to what punishment, if any, council decides to impose on the councillor if they've decided the contravention has occurred. It is also important to note Section 14(6) of the Act states a complaint filed under this section against a former, current or former councillor by a member of the public or another councillor is not considered a workplace investigation for the purposes of Section 33 of the Access to Information and Protection of Privacy Act. The Act also requires council to be trained on the Code of Conduct within 3 months of it being enacted, to undergo orientation training within 1 year of the Act being enacted. Council has already completed the ATIP module for this training. The remaining required training modules will be put off by the city at a later date. To file disclosure statements by March 1st that are accessible for public viewing, and we should have all received, I believe, templates for that we have to fill out for our disclosure statements as councillors, as well as prescribes what is defined as a conflict of interest and how to proceed with a conflict of interest, procedure for a conflict of interest complaint, and penalties if it is determined whether a councillor acted in a conflict of interest. So therefore, the final version of the Code of Conduct is coming forward to council for approval and is attached. A copy of the Municipal Conduct Act and Municipal Conduct Regulations and a memo that was previously circulated to council are attached for reference as well. So I won't read the resolution. The resolution is back on to approve of council. This is postponed from an earlier date. So put it on the floor. Comments, questions?
I will not be supporting the motion, Mr. Mayor, for the same reasons I mentioned during the last meeting.
Well, and what are those? Or would you prefer not to say, or?
Well, I've already gone through it, so I won't belabor the point.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead. That's anyone else? Anyone else? I think
I think I had my say last time, so.
okay, yeah, the acting clerk sent out, I think there was some misunderstandings of what was sent out before. Some of the issues that were brought forward are in fact addressed, and they have basis in the template that Municipal Affairs did provide. Again, if there are specific issues, we do have to pass a code of conduct. Okay? Well, there are no questions. Let's take it to a vote. All in favor of the code of conduct, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Counter-minded?
Nay?
Okay. Guess we won't get this done before March 1st. I can't understand why people don't like the code of conduct, but let's try the next one, shall we? Councillor Gill is not here. Perhaps Councillor Keeping, you could read the next one.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Along with the Code of Conduct for Council, municipalities were also required to develop the Code of Conduct for municipal officials as per the Municipal Code of Conduct Act. Same as the Council Code of Conduct, the Act set out provisions that are required in the Code of Conduct for municipal officials. While the City of Corner Brook did not have a pre-existing Code of Conduct, to work from staff reviewed the template provided by the province. Process of development of the municipal official code of conduct for other municipalities, as well as an extensive review and comparison to current human resource policies in line with. Staff proceeded with developing our own code of conduct that is legally complaint and is in line with current human resource practices and policies when dealing with complaints regarding municipal officials, as well as the Occupational Health and Safety Act. For the Municipal Official Code of Conduct, the HAC sets out similar requirements of the Code of Conduct for councillors, such as provisions for standards of professional behavior, use of influence, confidentiality, harassment, and bullying, as well as establishment of a process for filing and resolving complaints and reports related to complaints. However, the Municipal Official Code of Conduct is significantly different compared to the Council Code of Conduct in terms of the parameters in relation to persistent complaint and investigation process, as well as conflict of interest, and does not prescribe any set penalties for municipal officials. Due to the differing structure and applications of the code of conduct based upon the Act, the city developed a Municipal Official Code of Conduct separate from the Code of Conduct for Council, attuned to the two different templates provided by the province. The HAC states that the Municipal Official Code of Conduct must include provisions relating to conflict of interest, and that it shall specify the procedures that a municipal official is required to follow where the municipal official suspects that the municipal official may be in a conflict of interest. Specify the procedures for a person making a complaint regarding a municipal official or may have a conflict of interest, and specify the procedure for resolving the conflict. It also prescribes that the provisions on conflict of interest must allow for procedure to allow for a conflict of interest of the city manager to prevent the city manager from providing advice to council on matter where the chief administrative officer disclosed the conflict of interest and the nature of the conflict of interest to the council. And the council made the request for advice knowing of the chief administrative officer's conflict of interest. The HAC also requires for municipal officials to be trained on the code of conduct within 3 months of it being enacted, as well as prescribes what is defined as a conflict of interest, how to proceed with the conflict of interest, and requirements in the code of conduct in relation to conflict of interest complaints for municipal officials. To be trained on any changes made to the code of conduct within 1 month of those changes being enacted. Therefore, a final version of the Municipal Official Code of Conduct is coming forward for council approval and is attached hereto. A copy of the Municipal Conduct Act and the Municipal Conduct Regulations are attached for reference as well. Proposed resolution, be it resolved to adopt the Municipal Official Code of Conduct policy as presented in accordance with the Municipal Conduct Act. I so move, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Seconder?
Second that, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, any questions on this one?
My only question on this, is, well, same thing, is on the training. Just for clarification, it says, the Act requires municipal officials to be trained on the Code of Conduct within 3 months of it being enacted. Of the Act being enacted or of the code being enacted? The code. So if it's enacted tonight, then they have 3 months to be trained, correct? Okay. All right, that was my only question, really.
Okay. Any other questions?
I do have a question not related to that, but
Yes?
I have a question, like we were accepting the Municipal Official Code of Conduct policy as presented here for our workers, municipal workers, but we still don't want to accept that for councillors?
Well, I wouldn't speak for everyone.
Oh, no, I'm just
Clearly,
saying.
the majority didn't want the other one, but maybe they want this one, I don't know.
Okay. Okay, just a quick question, that was all.
Mr. Mayor, can I just go back for a second on the
Yep.
training? The other question I was going to ask is, when can we expect as councillors to see our training? Because we could have done the municipal affairs one before December or whenever, and then we were told not to avail of that one, because we're going to do our own.
Yeah, we're supposed to do our own, that's from my understanding.
Yes.
Are we required to do our own, or can we have municipal affairs come in and do the training with us in a session, or?
I don't know, the acting clerk, did you?
We were provided a template to use from the province because they use the municipal act as reference for the other municipalities.
Municipalities.
And us in St. John's were given the template to basically just make the changes where the City of Corner Brook Act would apply
For the
instead.
training program itself?
For the presentation, and then we would conduct the training.
Okay. So we wouldn't bring in municipal affairs, somebody from their office to do the training for us?
That
I'm just
wasn't-
asking because I know some other communities did that, so that's why I'm asking the question.
We're in a different, we have a different act than they
Yeah,
do.
right.
The city of St. John's, us and Mount Pearl, of course, have different acts. Unlike what was said last time, it's not just St. John's that did a different code of conduct than the
No.
template. As I read in the memo, it was places like Tor Bay, Paradise, Happy Valley Goose Bay, and others adopted varying changes to the template. So we're all modifying.
Okay, my question was just under training, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
That's fine. Thank you.
Any other questions on it? Any other things in particular there that we didn't like, or? No? Okay. Let's take it to vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Counterminded? Carried. Curious. Let's see, last item there, Councillor Keeping, building age-friendly community grant.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Department of Municipal and Provincial Affairs has created the Building Age Friendly Communities Grant to assist communities in funding small-scale infrastructure improvements to promote inclusively for seniors. The Recreation Department is applying for funding under this grant to make Bartlett's Point Park more accessible for seniors and individuals of all abilities. Under the guidelines of the grant application, a motion of council is required to approve the submission of this application in order for it to move forward in the process outlined by MPA. Currently, Bartlett's Point Park has accessibility limitations. There are two entrances to the park. One entrance is accessed via the Yacht Club, which requires a user to walk up a steep incline. The second entrance is located on Kitchery Street, which at the moment is mainly a drop-off point. The Recreation Department would like to use this provincial grant to improve accessibility to the park. Be it resolved to approve the submission of the application for the Building Age Friendly Community Grant as stated. I so move.
Thank you.
Second it.
Thank you. Choice. Although, any questions on this? This is no-brainer.
Just one, Mr. Mayor, I see there's a parking pad and pathway would be made using excavation. Where are we looking at putting that, and what are the details? There's no details attached here.
It's just at this point, I think, of the application, so very limited. But Mr.
Okay.
Bird.
So we're just trying to make it a little easier to get in.
Again, Ms. Patton, you,
We were only made notice of this grant last week. The deadline for this is coming Friday. It's the first come and first served. We know that this is a lot of issues with residents last year, but accessibility. And thought that this is the one that we would look at best. Details of working with engineering and public works in order to dot our i's and cross our t's on exactly how we're going to, exactly the way we're going to identify, make sure we're taking everything, all safety into consideration. But in order for us to move forward with the grant in a timely manner, we do have our estimated costs done, and we want to get it in as soon as possible. And unlike a lot of other applications, it requires a motion by council for us to agree with the project and move forward.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Sounds like a great project. I fully support it. I was just curious what we're planning on doing.
okay? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Counterminded? Carried. Okay, that brings us to the end. Again, we have had 2 meetings now on code of conduct. We've had very fleeting and debate on that. I guess we will have to decide whether we're going to call another meeting. The clerk has said it seems as much information as she wants, but gets no feedback. And I get none of these meetings. So we might have to call another meeting. So be on notice between now and Wednesday. Meeting adjourned.